What's up guys, Lane Whitaker here from Grind City Media, and it's time to get dinner on the table. I'm going chicken and rice. There's a million ways you can make this dish. My wife is Cuban, her family loves arroz con pollo. It's a big Latin America dish, but chicken, rice are pretty classic combinations. Here's the way I make it, and I get this on the table quick. It's delicious, it's tasty. You're gonna have leftovers for the next couple days. I'm gonna do it, you can do it with me. Let's do it together. This is Cooking with Lang. All right, time to make this chicken and rice, and we're gonna start with our aromatics. A lot of times it's called a sofrito. I'm gonna just use a food processor to speed this along. You don't have to. If you want this to be nicer, put a little time into it, have a little time to settle yourself, use your knife, cut all this stuff up. But I've got an onion, just a big white onion. I'm gonna cut it into some smaller pieces just to make it more manageable. That's going in. I've got some garlic, and I love garlic. You can use as much or as little as you want. This is about 6 cloves of garlic. They're going in whole. I've got a green bell pepper, which I cut into a couple smaller pieces. If you want to right now, you could throw a jalapeno in here too, give it a little more flavor. I'm also gonna use this bunch of cilantro, which I've washed off. I'm gonna save the top parts for later, but these stems, they're gonna go into. And then last thing I'm gonna do is put a little bit of seasoning, some pepper, and some salt, about a teaspoon of salt. Get that seasoned up. And we're ready to go. Okay, chicken goes first, right? So we're gonna use chicken wings. You could use any kind of chicken you want, breast, thighs, whatever. I like using wings for this because they have a lot of fat and a lot of flavor. And it's all gonna cook in the same pot, so that flavor is gonna go in. I'm gonna take these chicken wings. They've been seasoned with salt, pepper, garlic powder. I'm just gonna brown them in some olive oil right now, just to get a little color on the wings. Probably a couple minutes per side. You're not cooking them all the way through. You're just getting color on the wings and getting some of that fat into the pan to cook everything else in. All this brown stuff here, flavor, pure flavor, we want that in our dish. It's gonna taste like great chicken skin. So now we're gonna take our vegetables that we whizzed up earlier, and they're going right in here, and we're gonna use those to help get that brown stuff into our dish. So this goes in. These vegetables are just gonna cook for about 5 minutes, but right now is the time to rescue that flavor off the bottom of our pan. So using my wooden spoon here, scraping, you can see it's already, all that stuff's come up off the bottom and it's going right into our dish. We rescued all that brown stuff, the fond, off the bottom of our pan by using those vegetables, those aromatics that we put through the food processor earlier. Once you get that in there, I mean, those vegetables are like 75% water. That's gonna help loosen up all that flavor. I use this wooden spoon to kind of scrape the bottom. And now I'm gonna let these vegetables cook for about 5 minutes so they're not raw, I get that rawness out of them. And then we're gonna cook our rice, our chicken back in there, and we're good to go. These vegetables are pretty much ready to go. They've dried out a lot. All this steam coming out, it's not smoke, it's steam because the water's cooking out of that. We want some of the water to stay in there though. So the vegetables are good, they're not raw anymore. I've got about a cup of white rice, long grain white rice. I'm throwing this in there right now with these vegetables. I'm gonna stir it around to get coated in the flavor of those vegetables. And they might get a little toasty right now, which is good. There's nothing wrong with that. Now, when you make rice, usually it's like, the ratio is like 2 to 1 water to rice or 1.5 to 1 liquid to rice. I also like putting some tomatoes in here. So I've got a can of diced tomatoes in liquid. So we're gonna use this liquid partially to cook this rice. Pouring that in, and then I'm gonna fill this can with water once at least, maybe twice. That might be enough from the way it looks. Now we're gonna bring this up to a boil. All right, the rice is bubbling and looks awesome. The chicken's going back in. This chicken's like half cooked. It's gonna finish cooking. And the time it takes the rice to get done, the chicken's gonna get done also. So, and the chicken's gonna give all of its incredible flavor back to the rice. So this looks great. We're ready to go. I'm gonna put the lid on, turn the heat to low, and 15 minutes later, come give it a check. Okay, 20 minutes later, let's check on our rice and chicken. Our rice is done, our chicken is done, the veggies, everything, it's all looks incredible. Last thing I'm gonna do is the tops of those cilantro, we use the stems to help make our flavors. The top of it, we're just gonna sprinkle on top. Because you eat with your eyes first, and it's gonna make it look awesome. And that is chicken and rice. Let's eat. Time to eat, the best part of the show, and we're gonna start with some of this rice, tomato, the cilantro. Those flavors are amazing. You can taste the onion, the garlic, the pepper, the cilantro. The tomato gives it a little bit of acid. It's almost kind of creamy and rich. It's so good. And now I'm gonna go for one of the pieces of chicken. It's gonna be falling off the bone, I can tell you right now. It's hot. Super tender. Tastes like the rice, kind of that flavor carries through, but I could eat this all day. I'm gonna eat this all day. And this was super easy to make. Whole thing, 20 minutes. I made it, you made it. Let's make it together. This is Cooking with Lang, let's go.